Hello, and welcome back to River City Runs Red, our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle here on Restless Barbarian Gaming. I am your storyteller, Aloysius, here with two of my lovely players. Unfortunately, Jen is not with us once again. I hope they're doing okay.
All right, so
Fight for the
should
right
we
to
fight
introduce
this?
yourselves.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Well, after you.
Okay. Hey, everybody, this is Tom, otherwise known as Bolthra, sometimes on the internet. I'm playing Ephrem. He's a very bad, I don't even want to call him a person anymore, he's just a monster.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah, he's an awful, terrible humanoid. So we'll see what happens with him tonight.
Right. Hello, I am Tiara, and I play Yvain Mallory, a lovable clan minister. Oh, wait. Sam. Wait, what? What did I say? Clan ministry? That's correct.
That is correct.
That is right.
My brain blue screened for a second. Entered an alternate timeline. A lovable clan ministry girl failure, just like myself here. And I go by at devouryourfear.bsky.social online if you want to find me there.
Wonderful. When last we left the coterie, there were a few things happening. Really, the last thing overtook my entire brain because I had to rewatch what happened before that because I could not think of anything else. But Yvain had a little meetup with Merrick to discuss notes about the crime scenes and noted that the first crime scene was more in line with Revenge's normal MO, whereas various aspects such as the missing body parts of the second crime scene weren't exactly matching up with that, and they threw around a few theories as to what could potentially be going on with that specific thing. And then later on, a few nights later, Ephrem and Yvain met up and went to go talk to Alyssa at the Tremere Chantry to ask her if there could be potential thin blood alchemy involvement because the potential body of I immediately blank on her name.
That very important character.
Yep, Saris. Thank you. I
didn't remember either. So
I just had to do Tom's elevator music. The potential body of Saris, a Camarilla Kindred, because there was potential connections between her and the thin blood shenaniganery that Marcus had going on due to them both being at the party that the two of you had attended. Well, you and the entire coterie. And it was a mixed bag of a meeting, to say the least. And at the very end of the night, because Ephrem was very, very hungry, he ended up going a little too far when eating his midnight snack and killed her and did his best to cover up the screaming witness. And she's doing all right. Very confused where her friend / sister / questionable relationship is at. And You took her body out to your car, threw her in the trunk to a very shocked Evane. She certainly didn't seem to comprehend
And
what was
twice
going on.
shocked Tiara because until you said, and then Ephrem got hungry, I had completely forgotten that happened.
Yeah.
I blocked it out
Yeah,
immediately.
see, I couldn't think of anything else.
Murder happened at the
Yes.
very end last time. Okay.
Yes. Yep. And seemingly there were people who were in the club or by the club that ran out to your car right before you peeled out of there, leaving them in the dust. So who's to say how that'll go? But we're gonna pick up a few nights after that event. So, out of curiosity, Ephrem, what did you do with this body?
Well, he has a cover story planned, but overall, what he did was he took it to Ward 2 and left it in an alley outside a restaurant.
All right.
After carefully looking around, making sure there was no cameras or anything. Yeah, he probably just leaned her up against a wall outside of a restaurant. So.
All right. And you would have, well, after all that had happened, you would have gotten word that, like, over the past couple nights, that there is some gossip that you going around the Diablo Club, you know, your your main venue. And there's a word going around that you knocked a girl out and essentially kidnapped her, based off of a few potential eyewitnesses. Obviously, your diehard fans are dismissing it entirely, but your more casual fans are being like, yeah, they're not exactly stopping the gossip from going around.
Well, and he's okay with that because he's going to actually start his own stories, otherwise known as damage control.
Oh, do tell.
He's going to start a story that I think it was Stacy was the one. That Stacy's a little more of a freak than she was letting on, and that her boyfriend wasn't really down with this, but she had some kind of kink about being kidnapped and asked Ephrem if he would help her with that. In fact, she practically begged him to, because her boyfriend Travis, will say, just wasn't into that. So being a great guy, he helped her out with it, and maybe it wasn't the right thing to do, but yeah, he kind of helped her role play it out, and and if anybody saw anything, that's what they saw. He was trying to keep it, on the down low, so that not to embarrass Stacy. But he will let that story go.
And how will you begin spreading this rumor?
Probably he's going to talk about it with Jose, just where somebody else can hear it, especially one of the more talkative people in the club. Just loud enough so that they catch pieces of it, and he just wants to just throw that out there and just see if they'll take the bait.
All right. Do me a favor and make me a manipulation subterfuge roll.
I would love to, in fact. And I'm going to actually blood surge on that one because right now my hunger is 0.
That's correct.
Yep. So. And he has a specialty of covering up messes.
Which I think would certainly apply here.
Mm-hmm. And that was 5 successes.
5 successes. You find that this cultivated rumor of yours quickly spreads among your fan base, and quickly becomes the essentially like popular viewpoint of these events, whereas this the rumors of this real life kidnapping is much now more of the like dissenting opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And who knows, might earn him a couple more fans.
Yes, perhaps. You know, some people do love a scandal.
Yeah. So that's his. That's how he handles it.
All right, sounds good. Out of curiosity, Yvain, after you got dropped off from this whole ordeal, what did you get up to?
Well, first, does Yvain get like just dropped off? Does she get out of the car before? I can't remember. Did she get out of the car? Or was she like, what the hell? And stayed in the car?
She stayed in the car at the Diablo Club when you...
Right, because she was so shocked.
Yes, yeah. And she was basically like, well, I still need a ride, so I guess I'll stay here.
Okay, so did Ephrem drop Yvain off before?
Oh yeah. He would have swung by the coterie house, dropped her off before he.
And then like peeled out of there.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Me like, sorry, I gotta take care of something.
Following one of the chronicle tenets, keep your hands clean. So.
Important. Kinda.
Sorta.
Not really keeping them clean, more just like cleaning up a mess.
Exactly.
It's a very creative interpretation of that. I feel that like she's not sure. Here's the thing. So she doesn't know everything about Ephrem.
This is true.
But she has seen the actions and the consequences of said actions play out now a couple of times because it's been some months since being acquainted. And so with that reasoning, I think Yvain pages Delilah just like, we may have a problem because she's not sure that she trusts that Ephrem is going to dispose of the body in a way that's not going to become an issue.
Yeah. Okay. You'll definitely get back a message from Delilah because you know, over the past couple months, you two have definitely gotten like closer, especially like living on and off in the same space. She'll get back to you saying, "What kind of problem?"
Is there like Kindred slang for like dead human body? Doesn't that kind of feel like something that like we got an iced one? I don't know.
I mean, you can say it however you can say it however you want. The Kindred term for like a normal person is kine, but I don't think there's any specific term for a corpse or anything.
Okay. You know, would you let me say something? Okay, I have a question. Would
Okay.
you let me establish something retroactively if it wouldn't mess with the flow of the game? It's just kind of a narrative thing that
Okay.
makes sense. Would you at least hear me out?
Yes, I will. I will certainly at least hear you out.
Because Evade is the way that she is. We all know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I absolutely can envision that Evane, uh, because she spends more time with Delilah at the coterie house as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that they're a little bit more sociable with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely can see Evane having like a color code system because of saying like, well, what do we do if it's like shit really hits the fan? The masquerade is like, what? And so she has like a system, and so I'm
Okay.
seeing her saying, oh, we have we we have a code red. Like she'll say we have like a code red. I don't think that this is the most severe thing because it's a worry. I
Yeah.
imagine that like if she thought the masquerade was at risk, it would be more like we've got a code black or
Yeah.
something.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll just get a message back saying a code red? Question mark exclamation point.
Ephrem. Period.
And there's like a pause, and she just says, "Where and why?"
Had an issue with dinner. Don't know where he's going.
Okay. And she'll just she'll just message back. Any ideas? And then a quick follow up saying, getting rid of the trash, I assume? Question mark.
Yes, but how? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
And then
This is
she'll
an iPhone. I feel like it would be just 3 dots.
Yeah, just
for a really
ellipses.
long time.
Yeah, just the constant ellipses. And she'll message back, it's Ephrem. It can't be that complicated.
I'm trying to think of how she can even convey the not believing thatness via pager.
Uh-huh.
What if he goes to the river? And I think it's just a colon and a capital T.
And then she'll say, not exactly a small area to look.
Alright. The last thing that Evane sends is ... That's it. She doesn't have anything else to say. She's worried, but you know what? If Delilah thinks that it's okay, it's probably fine, right?
Delilah just tend to be nonchalant about a lot of things.
Who did you sell the book to? Or give the book to? Oh. Love Delilah.
Just like, it's not that important.
It's not like it might have been a major plot point or something.
Unruffled in the face of crisis.
I know.
Ice just runs through her veins.
And honestly, though, there are some things I was like, wow, that is I don't remember what the specific circumstance was, but I was like, wow, that is an extremely reserved reaction for what is happening right now.
Oh, man. But I will say, it does make for when Delilah actually gets, like, super pissed off. Like, that much more impactful. It's because you're not expecting it. Like, when she was, like, when she attacked Marcus, wanted him dead.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, that was good shit.
Yeah, very true, very true.
But, So, I think because Delilah seems like it's fine, she's not going to ask Rick?
That is his name.
It's only been how long? You think I would know this by now? What? She won't bring it up to Rick, because if she sensed a little like, that could be bad from Delilah, she's gonna be like, hey, Rick, good question. But she won't do that. So she's gonna kind of just put some trust that if will just like do a good job disposing the body. And she is promptly not going to think about it at all whatsoever anymore for the rest of the evening. And was that pretty late that was at the end of the night, yes?
Yeah, it was like fairly late in the evening at that point.
Okay, yeah. So that's what she would do in regards to that whole scenario. But moving forward, it's just gonna be, I think she's going to start dropping by Elysium to see if she can spot Ceres at all, or anyone that she's seen Ceres speak to in passing before.
All right.
Ephrem's going to be going to Elysium as well. So.
All right. So over the course of the couple nights, you two will definitely end up running into each other.
We should coordinate.
Yeah. I'll say, as for has Yvain really been to Elysium other than that first meeting?
I'm so glad that you asked that question, because the answer to that question is no. Yvain typically
I didn't think so.
Does not go to any of the social functions as herself, unless her sire tells her hey, you need to be at this thing, you better be there, sort of thing. And also, this is the first time she's going since she's stopped dressing like she wanted to meld into a shadow in the corner and just live there, growing fungus.
All right, sounds stellar. All right. I would say after a couple nights of going, you do not see Ceres any of the nights that you end up going there. We'll say on night 3, you do end up running into Ephrem, though.
She beelines for him immediately. Immediately.
He almost seems like he senses her.
Yeah.
He'll turn around.
Yeah, you turn around and you see Yvain speed walking towards you with a vengeance.
Yvain, how you doing?
Doing pretty well. I'm not having much luck, however, which is a little frustrating. But what about you? Have you heard anything recently?
That's what I was coming here to find out. To see if I could. Is Pixie there?
Pixie is certainly here.
Okay.
Making the rounds as she usually does.
Okay. Yeah, he if he can see Pixie, he wants to wave her over and introduce Yvain.
If sort of like wave her down, and if she turns to look at you, and she sort of like quickly wraps up with whoever she's talking to and makes her way over to you, and she says, "Hello, doll. Good to see you again."
He'll lean in, give her a kiss on the cheek.
And if she's just like flirt,
I am. Player can't think of anything else to say. So he just
most suave guy around.
Exactly. I'm trying to play a guy who's suave. And he will gesture to Yvain. I would like you to meet my coterie mate. This is Yvain. Yvain, this is Pixie.
So nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you. Well, as much as he's willing to talk about anyway.
Yvain will like put her hand out, palm up to take Pixie's hand. We're just gonna turn it on. It's okay. Just turn it on real quick.
Okay, so you like do like a one of these kind of deal.
Nope, other way. She's gonna take Pixie's. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, I was like, wow. Okay, just making moves, but okay, good to know.
No, I have something better in mind.
Okay,
So.
And all right, and if so, you take her hand. Yep, if she like reaches her hand out and lets you take it.
Yvain will. God and heaven be my witness. She will very lightly brush her lips to the back of Pixie's hand and say, hopefully good and bad things. And then let her hand go.
Ooh.
Yeah. What now?
Just for funsies. Make me... What would be the best role for this? Such a good question. Make me a charisma persuasion roll.
You got it. And you know what? I will... No, I don't think I need to. Let's just roll straight. I was gonna blood surge, but let's just roll straight. So that's gonna be 6. I almost want to just like break out the real dice. Give him a roll for this.
Let him put in the work.
Alright. Does a willpower let me re-roll?
Let you re-roll up to 3 non-hunger dice.
Perfect. I'd like to use a willpower.
Alright, go right ahead.
Don't fail me. Let's go. Yes! Okay, so that's gonna be 5 successes.
Alright. You do that, and she sort of like very gingerly takes her hand back and just turns to look at Ephrem and say, "I like her."
I thought you would.
So, what are you two little mice up to tonight?
Just came in to hear what's going on in our fair city here. I haven't heard anything interesting, anything juicy in the last couple nights. So, anything interesting going on?
Looking for anything in particular?
You're probing me. And he'll wink.
And she just says, "Maybe I am."
Okay, now player is gonna think. So the last time I talked to Pixie wasn't about anything really specific about what we had found. Actually, I think the last time I talked to her, we hadn't really found anything yet.
Yeah, because the last time you talked to her was like pre like any of the crime scene stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So he's told Rick about it. He's told the Tremere about it. Not been anybody else. He's kind of hesitant to let that slip just yet, because Rick hasn't really come back with anything. Whether or not he will or not, that's the other thing. Because I think we thought that it wasn't something that was important enough to go to the sheriff. So
yeah, that seemed to be the vibe that both Rick and Pierce were giving to you in very different manners of conveying it, but the sentiment was similar.
Okay. I think what he's going to tell Pixie is that he well, go back in character. I've heard there's been a little bit of trouble over in Ward 2. The Anarchs are starting to fight with each other.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, they don't seem ready to settle down, as it were. That they've taken to fighting amongst themselves.
Oh, that certainly seems like an interesting development.
Yeah. You have any interests over there? Unofficial, of course.
Nothing of any particular note. Well, I suppose it depends on the ward, but no.
I don't
not
generally get over there myself. You know, don't want to get anything all over me. You know, these are expensive shoes, so
it's understandable. I can't fault you for that one.
The other thing the player's trying to remember is, so this is a predominantly Camarilla area now.
Yeah, like the downtown area is. That's sort of like where the Camarilla is like centralized, but as you like spread further out towards like the rest of the city, then it becomes like more and more Anarch.
Okay. And there's also I always want to call him the Giovanni, but
yes, there is a Hakata presence on the outskirts of the city, but not within the city proper.
Okay. I think we being the Camarilla are doing a good job of holding our our territory. And to me, maybe just let the Anarchs just fight amongst themselves. Maybe it's not something we have to deal with right now.
Well, there haven't exactly been any outward assaults on our territories as of yet. Ward 3 has been rather cooperative. I think Prince Wolf wants to try and persuade the Baron into coming into the fold. We'll see how successful that endeavor turns out. Ward 1 and Ward 2, less cooperative, those ones, but neither of them have made any outwardly aggressive acts towards us as of yet. I think they're cautious.
That seems fair from what I've heard in my experience. I wonder though, what of the undead ones, the what were they?
You mean other than all of us? And then she lets out a hearty laugh.
Oh, and he'll just put a hand on her shoulder. Oh, you're a card. He's begun to pick up mannerisms and language that he normally wouldn't have used. He's trying to lose his reputation as just this DJ. He's trying to, and he says, yeah, the what do they call him? The Hecata?
Yes. I do believe that's what they're going by these days.
Keep changing names every couple of years. It's like they don't like their brand.
Well, they're not exactly the first ones to rebrand. And then she looks over at Yvain and says, "No offense."
I have none to take.
Do you think they can be trusted? As much as any of our kind can be trusted?
From what I've heard, they seem to, more often than not, to keep to themselves and make allegiances and alliances where it best serves them.
And
Perks of being independent, I suppose.
As player question: are there any La Sombra in the city?
There are some La Sombra in the city. There is actually a La Sombra Primogen.
Okay. I mean, we just.
There are only a few of them, but there are some La Sombra, yes.
I mean, we've only just brought in the shadows. I think we need to hold off on future invites, as it were.
Oh, I don't think it will be an official invite, and I doubt they'd accept it anyway, but well, that's not really my area of expertise. I don't know the finer details about it, but I know that there's some sort of peace agreement between us and them. Goes back centuries. Apparently that's going to be ending in the somewhat near future. And I think they're preparing for that inevitability, whatever that preparation looks like. Like I said, I don't know the finer details. It's not my area of expertise.
Nor mine. But I think I want to learn more. It can never hurt to be over-prepared, as my father often told me.
I suppose that's true.
Well,
I
Pixie.
was gonna say, Yvain's trying so hard not to make a face when you say that.
And
He's just like, who is this person?
Who is this person?
a liar. Pixie, as always, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Don't want to hold you up. I know you want to make the rounds.
And I do appreciate that, but it is always a pleasure speaking with you. You always have such interesting things to say.
He just kind of gives this like shy shrug. He's like, "Who, me?" Yeah.
Oh.
He's really been sucking up to her.
Yeah,
So-
wow.
Gonna make Yvain vomit in her mouth over
Exactly.
here.
Yeah, it's just like, would Pixie be someone that I can't really remember what Pixie's role per se is here at
yeah,
Elysium?
She's a harpy.
Okay. And I mean, and also she wasn't introduced as the harpy to Yvain, right?
No, she didn't have like a. She wasn't one of the people who got like a grand, be like, oh, this is who this person is, kind of deal.
I think they're more just mean girls, aren't they? So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She wasn't one of the people who got like a proper full introduction to everyone. It's kind of just one of those things that happens, and I don't think Ephrem introduced her as that either. So I suppose you would not know that information unless you specifically asked her what her whole deal is.
Okay. I was gonna say, because I can't really justify Yvain asking her about Ceres then. Because why would they know each other? Unless Yvain would have seen them talking at some point.
Due to well,
But Yvain doesn't really come to a lot of Elysium.
yeah, I was gonna say, due to her not going to Elysium very much, I think it would definitely be. I don't even know what you would roll for this to like recall a memory.
Was there ever a time when Pixie introduced herself to Frey when Yvain and Frey first came to the city?
I think. Okay. Wait. Actually, let me roll for that.
I wiggle my eyebrows.
Okay, we'll say yes.
Okay.
Although you looked quite different at the
Right.
time, and also due to being with Frey, you almost certainly would have been of a much quieter demeanor. So there's a very good chance that she just didn't remember you from that occasion.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Frey didn't introduce Yvain.
But but yeah, I would say you would remember her from that interaction then.
Okay. Well, then going based off of that, I think that before Pixie heads off, Yvain would stop her for a moment. Say, oh, sorry, I do have one question for you, actually. I know that you tend to socialize with many people here, and I'm just wondering, have you spoken to Ceres at all lately?
I didn't know that you and Ceres are acquainted.
Let me think about what me, Tiara, think about. I wasn't even sure she would know. who that was. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh.
It's like when you're hovering over the dialogue options, you're going, how should I respond?
It's like,
Right?
Let me just agonize for 10 minutes real quick.
Yeah. Let me save real quick before I answer. So.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so Evade knows that Saris was the type who just kind of talked to anyone.
Essentially, yes.
At least,
Like shit. Yeah. Anybody at Elysium, really anybody in the city, she did not care about, like rank or like perceived status or anything like that. She just socialized with whoever she felt was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, okay. I think Evade making a decision here so that she is... Yeah, okay, I got it. Yes, okay, so... I would say that we're not quite acquainted with one another as of yet, but rather, I've known about her since I came to the city, and the Camarilla accepted me into the fold here. But I guess you could say I have a admiration for someone like her. Not many would skirt such thin lines in the social domain as she does, with as much confidence, perhaps grace.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen Saris here in a while. It's rather unlike her, actually.
Can I read into what's Pixie emoting right now? Is Pixie emoting?
Make me a wits insight check.
What's going on? What do your eyes say?
It's like, what is that face of yours telling me?
Alright, so it's I got 3 successes.
Okay. You can tell that she's used to playing the game, as it will, but so she stays relatively composed as she's been talking to you, or like putting on some sort of facade. But you do see like the slightest hint of concern on her face when you like see her talking about Saris.
I had noticed that she hadn't been around as much lately, which is odd because she tends to be here without... I was gonna say fault. That doesn't make sense. This is just a night for players not knowing what words to use, I guess. She's usually here without exception. I think you think of the social scene that we have here, and I would say that she's definitely a part of that. So...
She's certainly been known to go on breaks, but usually she makes a big deal about her not being here. And there was none of that this time around.
And you think of the last time she attended this event?
Mm. 2 weeks, give or take. Maybe a little more than 2 weeks.
$2 weeks. Knowing that it is possible that the Kindred could be Ceres, and knowing that it's been about 2 weeks since she was seen at Elysium,
Mm-hmm.
is there any link there for Yvain in terms of like time for decomposition versus like age of kindred that Ceres was?
Make me a.
Because I can't. Can kindred feel when another kindred is of like a what is it, higher blood potency than them?
Oh, can they feel it?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
In like, I mean, really, the only way that they would be able to tell is if they. I mean, I suppose there are a few different ways, but basically all of them involve like direct involvement with like the kindred, like basically just them being able to like cancel out mental abilities that you try to use on them, yeah, like they're like tasting their blood, that sort of thing. There's no real way to just like innately know. With very few exceptions.
Who's the bigger predator in this room? You. So I don't know. But that makes sense. So I'm just like, I'm not. I don't think there's a non-weird way to say, hey, do you know how old Ceres was to Pixie? So like, not gonna say that probably. But
okay. Make me a intelligence science roll real quick.
A medicine science roll, you said? Wait, what did you...
I'll say, well, okay, let's say, let's say intelligence medicine.
Intelligence medicine, okay. Oh my god, 3 successes. Hallelujah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, going off of sort of your general knowledge of kindred physiology and how like quickly decomposition takes place depending on how old the kindred is. Looking at the sort of like based off of the state of the body that was in the closet, you would gather that that the kindred, whether that was Ceres or not, was likely around your age, maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger, but sort of like roughly in that ballpark.
I mean, someone from Yvain's time was to start decomposing after they were killed for the last time. A body might look like that. Okay. She'll just say, well, I hope everything's all right and we see her again here with us soon.
Yes, I hope so as well. I'm sure she'll be back before we know it.
It was lovely speaking with you, Pixie.
Yes, you as well.
Alright, and then she will turn back to Ephrem.
And Pixie will saunter off.
She's thinking. She is thinking.
We've put some leads out there. We'll see what it produces.
Evan's just gonna kind of mutter, not necessarily to Ephrem, but just kind of out loud, like, how can you go about looking up what a 100-year-old body rapidly decomposed might look like without having the NSA immediately alerted to your presence?
Yeah, if you Google that shit, you're gonna get and normally,
SWAT at your house, the FBI, everyone.
Normally, I might ask the Tremere, but I don't think they want to talk to me for a while. What other resources would we know of in the city? I mean, the Tremere aren't the only ones who do anything with the occult.
No.
I mean, they're known for it, but is there anybody else that we know of who that might be kind of does that mojo?
Is Hassan here?
Make me a wits awareness roll.
Both of us, or?
Yeah, both of you can make a roll.
Okay. All right. Wits awareness.
Oh.
2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. It's not an overly complicated perusal, because, you know, there's a decent amount of folk here, but not so much where you would be able to recognize someone in a crowd. You notice Hassan sort of towards the back, sort of like immediately by where it goes into the hallway, and he's just standing by the door smoking a cigarette.
I'm honestly surprised to see him at this. He did not seem like the type.
Yeah. Based off of his general demeanor, you can tell that he doesn't really look like he wants to be here, but more like he's just trying to.
He's working.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna mention this to you. He's working. I don't think we should talk to him tonight.
Oh, he's like actually working?
That's what he looks like. Yeah.
Or is this considered like a part of working because he's keeping up the appearances of being a part of Camarilla society?
As far as you can tell, he is sort of just standing off by himself, sort of like rather seriously, and he is dressed up a little bit nicer than the last time you had seen him. I mean, I guess the last time you saw him, he was rooting through a corpse, but
Yeah.
but now he's like in a white dress shirt, and he has like a black and red floral vest on.
Festive. Well, I mean, he'll look back at him. I suppose it couldn't hurt to maybe ask him his opinion, but how do we phrase it?
What if we just... Okay, before we... Okay. That's true. We do need a way to phrase it. That's a great point. We need your if you have time, or when, rather, you have some time, we would really appreciate getting your professional opinion about a few concerns we have of things happening in Ward 2. How about that? How's that sound?
Good. Are we... does he work for Rick?
If you had to rank them, technically he is above Rick.
Mm-hmm.
He's like between the sheriff and Rick.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, whereas Rick is like, just a hound. He's basically like an extra hand for the sheriff. A scourge is basically like a specialized hound who has like more independence. They still answer to the sheriff, but they're allowed like more free reign.
Because what Ephrem is thinking is if there was a way to phrase the question in terms of like research. And Ephrem's obviously not giving off any air of, hey, I'm writing a book about, or I'm doing research about Kindred.
Can you tell me about a dead body?
Exactly. I mean, he's and everybody knows he's basically just a playboy, but is Yvain more of a mystery to people?
I would say Yvain is definitely more of a mystery to people.
For better or worse, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, only so it seems legitimate, her question. Not just, hey, how long would it take a Kindred to,
Well, because she already asked Rick if he could, like, try and set something up. But I think, like, if Rick already reached out to Hassan about it, and then I think that they take the initiative to talk to Hassan tonight, then I feel like the likelihood might go up or whatever. Because Hassan seems like a pretty straightforward person from our very few dealings with him. However, I think that she feels it would be weird to go straight over there, and so rather, this is gonna sound so stupid, she wants to stare at Hassan.
Just stare at him from across the room.
Yes, she wants to stare at Hassan until he makes eye contact, and then she'll go over to Hassan with.
Okay. Okay.
I should just go over to him and go, hey, my friend really likes you. You should go talk to her.
Yvain just trying to...
just like staring without blinking.
When she's going to run into the bathroom, she's too scared to talk to you. So.
I would say Yvain just trying to make her way around to all the broody men.
Yes. I have to do it. For the culture.
We can split up. I mean, if it's going to be a better cover story, I mean... unless she wants Ephrem with her.
If Ephrem has other things that he wants to do to, like, check in on, she's totally fine with that.
Because to make it look like, different.
Less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Yeah, he'll just kind of walk off on his own and then let Yvain, begin her stalker staring. So.
Stalker
All right.
staring. Oh no.
All right, sounds good. All right, so yeah, I was gonna say important question here. Do you just sort of just like try to keep it as casual as possible, or do you just deadpan look in his direction the entire time, waiting for him to turn to look at you?
I think it is. It's not like it's not like super intense. Like I'm glaring daggers into the side of your skull until you look at me, intense or anything like that. It is definitely a little bit more casual. It's more of it's more unabashed, I would say. Like
Okay.
I know that you can tell that I'm looking at you, but essentially I'm going to keep looking at you until you make eye contact with me. And I'm unbothered by this.
Okay. You you stare at him for like a few minutes,
Mhm.
and eventually he
It's like, what
so-
the hell?
yeah, he sort of just like is sort of just like making the he's sort of just generally people watching, and then he just notices you staring him down, and he he's not like super taken aback, like oh my god kind of deal, but you do see him sort of like arch an eyebrow in intrigue and confusion, and
But he did. But he made eye contact.
but he did make eye contact with you.
All right, she's going.
Yeah, you see him look away, and then
Look
as
away.
soon as as soon as you start walking, he like looks back up and just sees you going towards him.
Yeah. But yeah, hey. I have to think of questions. Do you want to go to Ephrem?
Sure. Let's keep this interesting. All right, Ephrem, what are you doing? / who are you trying to look for?
Any chance anybody from the Tremere there?
Ooh,
They don't seem to be like hang out at.
an excellent question.
Yeah.
Make me a wits awareness roll.
Okay. It's awareness. And that would be 2 successes.
2 successes. As you're sort of just like wandering around, you see someone who you were not expecting to see here. Someone who you've had a few run-ins with at this point. You see Dorothy, the Tremere who always greets you at the door.
Oh. He'll if she notices him, he'll just kind of nod in her direction.
She is seemingly sort of like standing by herself, intentionally or not, difficult to say.
Mhm.
And she sees you make eye contact with her, and then she gives a semi-disgruntled look in your direction and turns away from you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The player really wants to go over and talk to her, but Ephrem is thinking he probably should back off. That is his one skill, is he can read people. So yeah, he just
Other than
acknowledged it.
manslaughter.
Wow. Yeah. That's kind. They don't really count.
They're not really
in his mind. That's
people.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean kind. Yeah, they're disposable.
Humanity 7, everybody.
So far. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he'd probably just he thinks to himself, oh, so she does get a night off. But no, he won't engage with her. Anybody else who looks like they're having maybe like a heated discussion or anything that's, I think it kind of just catches his eye. Like, that looks interesting. What are they talking about?
Make me a different wits awareness roll, and let me roll for something real quick.
Okay. Three successes.
All right. As you are sort of like looking around, you feel yourself accidentally like step back and bump into somebody very lightly, but
sorry about that.
Oh, apologies. And you turn around and it is Merrick. Ephrem.
Has he met them before? I can't remember.
He was at the crime scene, and
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes. So, not exactly your favorite person. Last you met him, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, Merrick.
Ephrem.
Had any more difficulty over in the other neighborhood?
Nothing as of late in that regard.
Keeping everything clean and tidy?
Trying. Looking into the finer details.
We're able to ID anyone?
Strong suspicions, but nothing definitive. I'm going to have an expert try and take a look.
Who would be the local expert? In case I ever need their services later.
Someone who lives just outside town.
Oh. He'll just kind of say, oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, hopefully you're able to get that cleaned up so that the nothing spreads any further.
Yes, I think we'd all like to avoid that.
Okay. All right. And with that little tidbit, he will, unless Merrick seems like he wants to stay in bullshit.
I mean, yeah. He's definitely given the vibe of like, you don't really seem to want to talk to me. I don't particularly want to talk to you, kind of deal.
Well, Ephrem kind of read him the riot act last time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I don't think either of you are each other's favorite person right now.
No, but he has a little bit of information that he wants to share with Yvain when she's available. So.
All right.
Okay, I stalled as long as I can, Yvain. You gotta.
Okay. I also realized I didn't ask a very important question.
Okay.
Is her sire at this Elysium?
I'm so delighted you asked. Make me what's awareness roll.
Oh no. Oh no! Are you gonna use this against me? Terrible. What if it was just that I forgot? type that right here. 1 second. No successes.
No successes. Sort of the thought briefly crosses your mind, and you take a quick glance around. You don't see him.
Oh no. That's probably fine then. That's fine. What? Why would everything's cool? Okay, yeah. She'll just make her way over to Hassan.
All right, so you beeline it for Hassan, and when you eventually get to him, he finishes it, taking a puff of his cigarette, and just says, "Can I help you?"
Right, Hassan is like super grumpy. That's fine. Okay. Okay. I think that the best option here is to just be totally chill and totally normal, because using anything to try and help, I think, if it goes wrong, would make this person hate me forever. I feel that in my soul.
Ephrem's going to start walking towards Yvain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she has her back to Ephrem or.
Yeah, I'd say she would.
Okay. He's gonna see if he can just slide up next to her, not surprising her, but.
Yes. To which Hassan would certainly be able to see you walking on up.
Yep. Oh yeah, and he'll nod to Hassan and says,
Ooh. Okay.
Yvain, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just found out about something, and I wanted to just see if you and I could have a word before. Because he looks at his watch. He's like, I've got to get going pretty soon.
She will raise her eyebrows, kind of questioningly at that, but she'll glance to Hassan and say, I'm sorry. If you could excuse me for just a moment. I had a question for you, but seems I must tend to something first.
He's gonna.
And she will step away with
Yeah.
And I would say with the his hand that's holding the cigarette, he'll sort of just gesture you off.
Maladjusted, brooding man, you are not safe yet.
He's gonna kind of lean in. He says, Merrick is consulting with the Hecata about the bodies.
You think America's consulting with the Hecata?
Yeah, he's in so many words he told me that.
And so what exactly did he say?
I asked if
I can't imagine he didn't actually even say their name.
He
right?
He didn't. I asked, I said, has he been able to ID the bodies? And he said he was going to check with some friends of his outside the city. We know the Hecata stay outside the city, and they're necromancers. So...
Are the Hecata the only ones who live outside the city? Sorry, this is just because the downtown, right, is Camarilla.
Yes. And then basically everything else within the city proper is Anarch.
Yeah. And then outside of the city limits, you said there is a Hecata presence on the outskirts of the city. Is there anything else as well that we know about?
Not to your knowledge.
Okay.
So before we ask a question that could potentially go wrong, I wanted to stop you. Because maybe we can work through Merrick to get what we need.
When you say get what we need, what exactly are you talking about? Do you
Find
mean
out.
more evidence to get
More
more
evidence.
involvement?
Yeah. Hopefully not get deeper into this, but find out if that truly was Saris.
I know
Unless-
that he also has interest in seeing this resolve.
To me,
And
it's his mess. I'd prefer he cleaned it up.
well, is it his mess, or is it just that he's perhaps putting himself into a position of helping something that is more trouble possibly than it's worth?
Well, and he'll just glance over at Hassan. Sorry, Hassan. I'm always fucking up his name. You can always ask his professional opinion, but I think maybe let's hold off on that. See if Merrick kind of works
I
it
was
out
just
himself.
only going to ask if he could help me identify the potential age of the corpse
Like, well,
that we found in the closet. Not necessarily about the scene itself.
it's up to you. I just didn't want you to get yourself involved in something that might turn out badly for us.
She nods slowly. I'm sorry, I had to yawn. Sorry about that.
All good.
Braid not getting enough oxygen, I guess. But she'll nod slowly. I think she just kind of like, as she's nodding, she kind of actively is now glancing around to see if she sees Merrick.
Sort of like take a
Yeah,
look.
because I think she just wants to ask straight up, like, hey, who are you getting help from?
Yeah, you take a look around, and you do end up clocking him.
Okay. And before jumping into this, relations between the Hecata and the Camarilla, not good.
Not bad.
Not bad? Okay.
Not bad.
So this is not potentially a terrible thing.
No. It's not. I mean, you know, they look at them the same way they look at like any
Ministry?
I would say
Lasagna?
I would say they would probably I'd say they look at them better than both of those.
Damn.
Because at least these nights, because there's a lot of distrust for the actually make me make me a quick intelligence and history is a roll, right?
Yeah,
politics.
No.
Yeah, politics.
Yeah, okay, do intelligence and politics. For like to see if you know the exact reason why the Camarilla don't like the Ministry very much, like as a whole.
Okay. I got 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, it's not a terrible. I would say you're from the clan, so I don't think it would be too terribly difficult of a roll. Essentially, the reason that the Camarilla as a whole, not in like specific cities, but like as a like sect as a whole, don't like the Ministry is because there were peace talks between the Ministry and the and some Camarilla higher ups to potentially get the Ministry as a whole to become a Camarilla clan when those peace talks literally exploded. And a lot of people in the Camarilla think that it was the Ministry who blew up the peace talks.
Oh.
So, and so, Ministry were out, Banu Hakim were in.
Rude.
And then,
You're just little haters, that's all.
yeah, and then also after that, the Ministry as a clan turn around and then join the Anarchs.
Well,
So-
I mean, they were like, why are you blaming us for that?
Yeah.
Can't
So,
prove anything.
so it's a little contentious on both sides as a whole.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
you know, clearly, Prince Wolf seems to see some merit.
Okay. Okay, then okay. So then, with that context in mind, Yvain won't immediately start not charging, but like
Won't like jump down Merrick's throat and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
She wasn't gonna do that anyways, but she was gonna be like, "Hey, I have questions.
They're like, "Hey man, what's up?"
What's good?" But she'll how to word this. Yvain is going to look at Ephrem and say, okay, I definitely understand your concern if that is the case, but would that I mean, you seem concerned about that. Why?
I have.
By all intents, my clan is viewed more harshly by the Camarilla than the Hecata.
I just thought that asking too many questions might not bode well for us. While
I see.
Merrick, let him ask the questions. Let him be on the hook for the whole thing. Then we find out.
Well, I did already
find out what he
tell him.
finds out.
Right.
And
To be fair, though, I did already ask Rick to set up that appointment with Hassan for me, so Hassan should know that I've wanted to speak with him.
True.
And I did also already tell Merrick that I would speak with Hassan as well. So I think in this regards, just because we can't get anything concrete on our own,
Okay.
this is why I think it would be a good idea to try and get some information from Hassan. I understand your concern, though, and I do think it's very valid. And I will keep that in mind.
Okay. All right. And he'll step back and let her do as she wants.
Does Ephrem believe her? She stares into your soul.
One of those. Okay. All right. So what am I rolling? Like intelligence and insight or something?
Well,
No, I'm sorry. No, she's not gonna.
Oh.
yeah.
I was being silly. No, she's
Oh,
not
okay.
going
I was
to
gonna.
Yeah,
She
I
was,
was saying,
actually
she was
stare
trying
into
something.
your soul. No, but she is curious as to whether or not Ephrem actually is like, okay, fine, or like, I'm saying it's okay, it's not okay.
It's more he's covering his ass, letting her ask the questions,
Sure.
letting her be the one who might be sticking her nose in.
Hmm.
So he's
But
absolutely
he was
fine with
nice
that.
enough to warn her,
Well, of course,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
growth.
yeah.
Because I
But
feel like 2 months ago, Ephrem would have been like, "Yeah, go ahead, ask the question."
yeah. It's like, hey, I'm not gonna stab you in the back. I'll stab you in the front, like a dignified person.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, maybe there's some slight concern there, but it's more covering his ass, because they're in a coterie together. So he
Yeah,
has the
sure.
feeling that if she messes everything up, it's going to reflect badly on him. So
That's very fair. Oh no.
he's really awful. So he really is, but that's the way he rolls. So
Well, Vane will invite Ephrem to come and speak to Hassan as well if he would like to. Otherwise, she will handle
no,
it on her own.
she's
In
on her.
essence, yeah.
She's on her own, and he'll say, "I think you can. I think." Or he's, I was going to say this.
Oh,
I trust you can handle this, and well,
do you mind doing? Do you mind keeping an eye out for me, perhaps?
of course.
If you're going to be here for a bit longer doing rounds, uh,
Hey, he'll
can
just
you let me know
say,
if you see my sire here at all?
of course, I got your back.
Why does everything he says sound so deceitful? What? Your words are filled with lies.
Uh,
He will keep an eye out for her sire. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, then Evane will peel off, and she will make her way back over to Hassan.
all right, sounds good.
Carefully constructed confidence, now being hastily rebuilt to speak with this frightening person.
And as you approach him, he takes his cigarette and puts it out in the ashtray, and he sort of just keeps standing there and crosses his arms and says, "Back again, I see."
I said I had a question, didn't I?
So you did. What's the question?
I'm assuming that Rick may have already reached out to you about my inquiry, but I don't know how much information he gave you based on it, but I have some images and items that I could use a more experienced eye on.
Very
I'm
well.
dealing with some concerns in Ward 2.
And he sort of like raises an eyebrow and says, "What could you possibly have to worry about going on over there that you would need to ask me about?"
the desire to say a murder most foul. uh, um, she'll say again. Essentially, a incident that requires a more medically experienced eye than my own.
He holds out a hand.
She looks at his hand like, and then up at him like, we doing this here. But I'm assuming that his face is just blank.
Yeah, it's
kinda.
just yeah, it's like stone.
How scary does Hassan look?
I mean, he looks very like well put together and you know, very like presentable, but you can tell in his eyes he has seen things and done things. You don't know how many things, but there is a sort of dead intensity to them.
Okay. Very demure. Is there like a at Elysium, aren't there like kind of different like hallways, corridors, blah blah blah, that are a little bit less crowded?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are plenty of nooks.
Jesus.
There are plenty of nooks and crannies in Elysium.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad of an idea is it for her to grab and lead him to, like, at least out of the general room where so many people are talking and mingling?
Maybe make me an intelligence insight roll.
An intelligence, you said intelligence insight?
Yep.
I mean, but is she really going to look into like, can I get away with this and do it, or is she going to say, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try and do this in at least like as inoffensive way as possible? I don't know if she's thinking far enough ahead to like, will he karate chop me in the throat if I try and do this? That kind of feels a little bit like cheating, because I don't think that she would look that far ahead. Like she'd be like, okay, let's just do this, but like let's at least try and do it in a way that like maybe if it's inoffensive, I won't die.
Yeah, it's like maybe he won't crush my windpipe. I know
Yeah.
I don't need to breathe, but he might crush it anyway. Kind of
I'm
deal.
rather fond of that. I had it from when I was still human and alive. Because I'm thinking that I think she's not very confident. I think she's going to just kind of act with the confidence that she feels she would need to even kind of have the gall to be like, I'm going to leave the scourge off somewhere and stuff so that we can talk about important matters.
Okay.
Now that is some Elysium gossip.
That would be some Elysium gossip right there. So is that what you do?
Oh god, sometimes you have to go for it. I don't know. Yes.
Okay. So do you just do you grab his hand? Do you grab his wrist? Do you grab his arm? Like, where do you grab him to start leading him?
Grabbing his hand seems like an act against God, so won't do that. His wrist seems a little aggressive, maybe like a gentle hand kind of cupping like the back of his like forearm and
Okay.
like leading, like kind of urging him to follow her, sort of thing.
Okay.
She will essentially only be touching him for maybe about 25 seconds.
Okay. Um, you sort of like notice as you touch his arm like almost instinctually like tenses up. Um, but he does not karate chop you in the throat or anything like that.
Okay.
But he
Cool.
definitely get like without like being over dramatic or anything like that. He's still very reserved about it. He sort of gives you a look of like, "What are you doing?"
I mean, can she see the look as she's walking forward in front of him, leading him off?
I suppose she couldn't. So you just start pulling him along.
Yeah.
All right, he follows.
And she's just going to act like she's just going to have like a very like neutral smile on her face as she does this, because yes, like obviously this could be gossip nonsense. So
Mhm.
she's gonna just try and treat it as normal as possible.
Yeah.
But she's just kind of like going. I think she's just kind of trying to find like just a spot, maybe in a hall where there's not anyone around, or at least less traffic.
All right, sounds good.
And then she will let go of his arm and start rifling in her bag. So, you know, she keeps everything in there.
Yeah. And as you let go, he sort of like straightens out his attire a little bit and just say, "What is this about?"
All right, she pulls out her phone. She pulls out her phone and she pulls up a locked album
Okay.
in her photo memories, and she will hand it over to Hassan. And it is pictures of the crime scene and pictures of the desecrated corpses.
And he starts looking through them. So, what is it specifically you're asking me?
As someone who is no stranger to cadavers, I'm wondering if you're able to estimate a potential age range for these kindred.
And he is sort of looking through them and says, "Due to the nature of kindred, we tend to decompose at a quicker rate and differently than a typical corpse. Looking at these ones, they couldn't be more than a few years, if that. But this last one, there's a bit of a range to it, but if I had to guess, anywhere between
100 years.
anywhere between 60 and 100, somewhere in that range, I would have to say."
And she said 100 because she was like, "Hey, what's good with it?" Twins. Okay. Anyways,
It's like, twins, sorry you're dead, but
right. Hey, sis. I'm sorry. I can take things seriously. I promise.
It's okay.
So Yvain will take her phone back
Yep,
and
he'll give it.
stare.
Yep, he'll give it back to you.
Yeah, stare at the last one. Say, that is what I was worried about. By any chance, do you have any means or know of any way to uh, identify? Nope. Never mind. She's not gonna ask. She's not gonna ask that question because it's a bad question.
Okay.
Okay, this is what she'll ask. Um, in your time as Scourge, have you come across any stories, any, I don't know, I guess, experience yourself with corpses that have had pieces of the body stolen from them?
When I was sheriff of a different city, I knew a Hikata who liked to eat the flesh from corpses as opposed to drinking the blood of kine. But if you're asking about whatever's going on in these photos, that did not look like this. This looked much more,
Calculated.
yes, like they were looking for specific things,
Like for a ritual.
potentially.
Yvain's gonna drop her phone back in her bag. Is anyone else around in this hallway?
No, not currently. At least, like, not where you guys, and at least not where you sequestered yourself.
Okay. She's gonna look to the left and look to the right. Left again. And then she's gonna turn and face
She's gonna
the
cross
wall.
the street.
No, she's gonna cross the street. She's going to turn and face the wall. So she was looking at him, so that she's gonna kind of turn to the left, so that she's kind of like full facing the wall.
Mhm.
She's going to crouch down. She's gonna put her face in her hands, and she's covering her mouth, and she's gonna let out a muffled yell. She's gonna let out a. I would do it, but I don't want to blow out anyone's eardrums. But she's gonna let out a muffled yell.
Okay.
Like, for like a good 30 seconds, and then she's gonna stop.
That was
And
a
then
bit
she's
much.
gonna stand up. Is that what he says? That's a bit much.
Yeah, he says that to Yvain, yes.
Well, I'm from clan ministry, and if I didn't have a little flair for the dramatic, that would be quite strange.
And this is in Ward 2, you say?
Yes.
And
My concern is that if it turns out that it is not just the the residents of that particular ward that are running into these incidents, but rather those from our area. This could turn into something a lot more troublesome than a few murders.
There is the potential for that. How long
What?
ago was this?
Was it is it like the end of the week now at this point, or is this the following week?
This is the following week from when you were at the crime scene.
Okay. Then she'll say this is it's been a bit over a week now.
Do you know of anything that's happened since this incident?
Did Merrick mention that any other bodies had been found, or just that he received information about the prior crime scenes?
At your like when you met up the last time, there was nothing about anything new happening. You don't know if anything new has happened since then, but the last time you two got together, it was just about the incident that you ended up going to see.
Okay. To my knowledge, no, not yet.
Well, all right then.
I'm supposing that is you saying that I should not make this into something bigger than it currently is, because maybe it's nothing at all and it's not important enough to bring up to anyone yet. Yes?
What I am saying is, I will look into it.
Oh, she has a total look of surprise at that. Is he for real right now?
Make me a wits insight check.
Well, she's just like, are you for real? Pinky swear right now.
Pinky swear that
You
you're
know
not
what? No.
bullshitting me.
Yeah, she's just straight up. She's gonna be like, "Are you serious?"
I hardly joke around when it comes to business and serious matters.
Yeah, you don't have many laugh lines. I can picture that. But why do you actually think that this is something to look into?
I think it pays to be cautious.
Vane's gonna gesture with her hand. She's doing that motion off to the side that's like, thank you. Someone finally fucking gets it. And it's just literally like, this is the first time I feel validated. And I can't even remember how many, at least 40 years, honestly, because no one understands that. It's very lackadaisical kind of energy that everyone has until it's like things blow up in our face. That's poor time to deal with it. Anyways.
Yes, it would not be the first time I've been in a situation like that. I would prefer to avoid them in the future.
She will nod. If I hear, if I get any more information, about another instance. Would you like me to share that information with you? I would find your insight valuable.
I would appreciate it. And I know.
She hands him her pager.
Oh, and he sort of stops talking and just takes the paper and
Sorry.
and
Oh, it's serious. I'm so sorry.
yeah. And he like quickly puts in his information and hands it back to you, and continues where he left off and says, I know Rick would prefer to look into matters like this more intensely, but he's on a much tighter leash than I.
To feel bad and say, wow. I appreciate again your insight, but also your help with this, because just because it might be seeing the worst case scenario, it doesn't actually mean that it's not likely that it could happen. And so I felt a little bit crazy the past week trying to deal with this, but at least someone else is taking this seriously. Hey. You know, me, Tiara, I have not thought about how she's now going to get out of this situation where she's speaking to Hassan, who she did drag off.
Yeah.
You know, she's gonna say, I'm sorry for rudely grabbing you. I apologize for that. I just felt uncomfortable sharing some of this information where it was so crowded.
That is, and he sort of like puts both of his hands behind his back and just says, "It is understandable."
Thank you for that.
And I appreciate the apology.
Yes, I appreciate your patience with that one. She's not gonna say thank you for not karate chopping me, because he might still do it.
It's like, I don't know how well this man throws hands. I don't know if he's the karate chopping type.
Well, he just casually said he was sheriff in another town, so like, or another city. So
he did say that, yes.
Apparently, mans can fight. I would imagine you have to be able to, right? In some capacity, even if it's not like physical prowess.
Yeah. I thought you were just being like, he was a sheriff. He needs to know how to karate chop. Apparently.
Chuck Norris needs to know. You don't get to not know. You have to. That's in the training manual.
Yes, every sheriff needs to know how to karate chop.
But she will say, do you mind just like casually walking back this way together, so that people aren't strange?
So that people aren't strange?
Strange. Yes, they like to talk and gossip and make up stories. All those things. Because they don't have anything better to do.
I think they'll do that regardless, but I will walk back with you.
Energy is kid walking back with principal after getting in trouble. No.
It's like, quick, we need to shift the energy to, I don't know, something that makes sense.
And the whole cafeteria goes, ooh.
Right?
Yeah, all of Elysium is just like, ooh. Ooh, Yvain's in trouble.
Tee.
Yeah, like they're all a bunch of fifth graders. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
anyway, so the two of you walk back.
Mhm.
And while all that's going on, Ephrem, as soon as well, actually, first off, make me a wits awareness roll.
Okay. Two successes.
2 successes. Okay. So you're sort of just vibing, just like picking up on a little gossip here and there, and as soon as you see Yvain pull Hassan out into the hallway, you hear from behind you. You're one of Yvain's coterie mates, aren't you?
So I recognize the voice.
You do not.
He will just casually turn towards the voice.
You turn and you see a very well-dressed man with rich dark skin and long, luxurious, well-kept hair.
Have I met her sire before?
I don't think. Well, you may have seen him around, but I don't think the two of you have properly met.
Okay. He'll say, "Do I know you, sir?"
Oh, I am Yvain's sire. Frey, a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. He'll just put out a hand, shake him. Pleasure to meet you.
So, what brings you here tonight?
Just a little bit of business, a little bit of pleasure. Mostly pleasure.
I see. What about the business?
Oh, it's always good to find out what's going on in the city. Keep up to date.
Anything of note?
Kind of make kind of a dumb face, Well, it seems like the Anarchs are getting ready to kill each other.
Is that so?
Yeah. Knowing fully that Ministry are part of the Anarchs. But
Yeah.
waiting to see how he reacts to that.
Make me a wits insight roll.
Okay. He is a bit of a snob, so. Camarilla fanboy. 2 successes.
2 successes.
Mm.
He seems entirely unbothered by that comment.
Okay. And he'll just kind of let it drop from there. So.
And what seems to be the reason? I know it's idle gossip, but what have you heard?
Can I do a wits insight to see if he's specifically digging for something, or is he just making conversation?
Yeah, sure, go right ahead.
Okay. And I am going to... hold on. Because I don't know this guy from Adam, so... 3 successes.
3 successes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You get the impression that he does seem to be probing a bit. You don't necessarily know for what, but
Fishing.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does seem to be fishing a little bit.
Okay. I'll just reply says same thing they do every night. Just trying to kill each other and gain more power.
That's fascinating. I thought I saw Evane's new little associate here. He's an anarch, is he not, to my knowledge?
Which one are you talking about?
The
Why would you
And-
say that like that? Which one are we talking about?
the businessman, the emissary. Mad typing goes on.
Yeah. Sorry, I got dog aggro. I gotta go deal with something. I'll be right back.
It's all good.
Well, he might be around here somewhere. He'll just kind of glance around, kind of a disinterested look.
All right. And then everyone goes into idle mode for a moment.
Sorry, having to put my dog to bed.
No, it's all good. Do what you gotta do. Well,
I just love the way that was said, though. Oh, which one? Say it like that. That makes it sound bad.
it's just like, it's hard to keep track. She's hanging out with so many of them these days.
So many. Oh, God. You know, it's so funny, too, because I've been thinking, there was a point, I can't remember when, I think it was during, like, season 1, you said, I'm very excited for you to interact more with Hassan. And I was like, who's that? Because I couldn't remember at the time. But hey, it's happening.
It is happening.
It's a callback.
Yep, and I thought about it yesterday, and I was like, ha ha ha, you asked for this.
Been
I know
mentally
a
preparing for
maladjusted
it.
brooding man hate to see you big coming. Like Pokemon. Gotta collect
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah, we gotta collect all of them. Got our eyes set on 3 right now.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I saw you speaking with him a bit earlier. Is that not true?
Oh, I think I know who you mean. His name's Merrick.
It's Merrick. That was it.
He might still be wandering around here.
And he just says, point me in the right direction, would you?
He's kind of like,
And I need you to make me a intelligence and resolve roll.
okay, can you roll it for me? My
Yes, I can roll.
boundary is. Sorry.
Taking a doo-doo?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that for you. Let me just pull up your... Well, actually, yeah, just tell me your dice pool. That'll be faster than me pulling up your...
Can't see it at the moment. I think.
Okay, then I will quickly find your character sheet.
It was intelligence and what?
Intelligence and resolve.
Oh, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember he had 2 resolve and 3 intelligence. So.
Okay, let's see. Roll. Okay. And You basically feel you feel this like it's a bit difficult to describe. You feel this pull almost like you need to do what he tells you to do. And
Is that what that feels like? No.
and you just instinctually feel it's almost like you have no control of your body, but you have no issue with it. You feel
right
yourself. Yeah. You point off where you last spoke with Merrick, and he just says, "Thank you. That's very helpful of you." And Evane, you walk back into the room with Hassan as like when you look over to where Ephrem was, you see Frey walking away from him. And Ephrem, you come back to your senses, and Frey is no longer standing with you.
He's like, do I know what he did to me?
It's a bit fuzzy.
Okay. Again, that's what this feels like. So he's like, and he kind of shudders a little bit, kind of like, I don't like that guy. Uh-oh, Daddy's here. So
Yeah, essentially, like, she wants to check on Ephrem. I'm sorry, is it Ephrem or Ephraim?
Ephrem.
Ephrem, okay. She wants to check on Ephrem, but survival instinct takes precedent over that. So I think that she stiffens next to Hassan. And she's her eyes kind of follow where Frey drifts off to. And she's just going to kind of quietly, like, mutter, like, excuse herself, essentially, and peel off from Hassan. And she wants to follow from a distance, hidden, Frey. Because what the fuck is he doing, and why did he talk to Ephrem?
Okay. You see that Frey is sort of like heading off towards one of the opposite exits, and sort of as your eyes are sort of following the line of where he's walking, you see maybe like 15-20 feet ahead of him, you see Merrick just head out that exit that he is heading towards.
Oh no. Yeah, she's gonna follow, because I don't know what that be. I think she's a little nervous about that. Like the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not quite sure like why she feels nervous about the meeting, but the feeling is there, so she will follow.
Spidey sense is tingling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has Ephrem noticed her making that beeline?
I would say after like a moment of like coming back to yourself, you sort of like look around, and you see Hassan sort of standing where he was before, and after a quick little pan, you see Evane sort of like beelining a bit.
He'll follow.
Can I use... What is it called? I would like to use Silence of Death.
Okay.
Following after Frey.
All right.
And I believe the cost is free.
It is free.
Yep. Okay, cool. So she's gonna kind of like use that to try and sneakily see what the fuck he's going off to do. Like, why are you following Merrick, you weirdo?
Yeah. And as you round like head out the exit after them, you see that neither of them are there.
What?
Yeah.
What?
They walk out the exit. Well, Merrick walks out the exit. Maybe like 5 seconds later, Frey walks out the exit. A little bit after you walk out, you don't see either of them.
What the fuck? Oh no, that's concerning. Would you really do this to me? Game Master, would you really do this? Well, darn. That's not awesome. But Merrick is also a grown kindred man. I mean, yeah, still
A
man.
grown kindred man.
Grown ass kindred. So
Yeah. Shit. Oh, you know what? Is there any way for me to see if I can find Frey's phone location?
Sure. Why not? Make me I guess just an intelligence technology roll.
Mm-hmm. Listen, y'all forget. Yvain's got technology points. She's a streamer. She's gotta know how to use technology a little bit, right? That was my justification. Okay. Please. Where did they go? They disappeared, and that's not awesome. Yikes. I had 1 success out of 5 dice.
1 success. It's not a terribly difficult roll. That you notice his location is still relatively like close by, like it's not right on top of where you are, but it's
In the alley.
yeah, it's like not like technically you're still in the building. You're on like the 2nd floor of the building.
Mm-hmm.
But towards the end of the hallway, you do see an open window.
Okay. Can I like sneak that way?
Sure, make me a dex stealth roll. And Ephrem, you said you're following her?
yeah, he's probably at a distance, so he's probably seen her maybe stop.
Okay. So he's just watching.
He's just watching, yeah.
Okay. I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. Creep on by. And you have head over to the window, and there's a fire escape on the side.
Does she hear any sounds?
You do hear some well, let me see what kinds of sounds are happening. Okay. Yes, you do hear hear some you hear some Yeah, you hear some sort of like agitated you hear some like agitated angry talking, not outright yelling, but sort of like sort of like someone's like talking shit to somebody else.
I gotta hear what is happening.
Ephraim's gonna. So she went out the window onto the fire escape.
I was gonna say she hadn't yet like fully gone onto the fire escape. She's just trying to see like does she actually hear anything coming from outside? And then confirming that she is hearing something. Oh shit. She's going to continue. She's going to try and quietly make her way to a point on the fire escape where she can hear a bit better into the alleyway below, probably.
Okay.
Or the street below or whatever.
Yeah, it's like an alleyway, and you get out onto the fire escape, and you can sort of like see down the alleyway a little bit, and it looks like Merrick. What?
I'm gonna turn off my phone site and my phone sound. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn my phone off.
Okay. Turn that shit off.
I don't want to get fucked here.
Okay. And you see it looks like Merrick is sort of like pinning Frey up against the wall of the building, and sort of like in the hand that he's not pinning him, he's holding up to him sort of what looks like these like serrated bone spurs that are like sticking out of his arm, and he's like holding them up to Frey, saying, "Try a stunt like that again, and I will fucking end you.
Oh.
And leave Yvain alone. She's not your little puppet." And then he just tosses him to the side. And and then he just and then he just sort of starts walking, and you see the sort of like serrated bone spurs sort of just like seamlessly like slink back into Merrick's arm. And as he's walking away, you hear Frey is sort of like mutter to himself as he's like standing up and like trying to recompose himself. "Fucking fiendish trash." And he sort of like picks himself, and he just heads off in the opposite direction.
Okay, Yvain will cling to the shadows and wait until Frey is gone out of sight. And
Okay.
Step back inside. Flabbergasted. Speechless. Wait, Ephrem was following her? Are you
He
on the
probably went as
fire
far-
escape?
No. He didn't. He probably went as far as the window. He didn't step onto the fire escape. Would he have heard any of this, possibly?
He probably wouldn't have been able to hear all of it, but he would have been able to sort of like hear like the general vibe of things, and like maybe like every other word here or there.
So he'll probably step back a little bit, and he'll wait for Yvain.
Yeah, Yvain will step back in through the window and kind of have a puzzled look on her face at that exchange, but will, I'm assuming, see Ephrem chilling to like her right or her left. Go, oh, I see you found me.
How bad?
What do you mean, how bad?
How bad is it between those two?
Wait, how do you know who I followed?
He just smiles.
Okay. Did you tell Merrick? Or not Merrick, I'm sorry. She says, I saw Frey walking away from you.
I had no choice. He controlled me. He made me tell him where Merrick was.
Okay. I think Yvain will kind of nod. And say, I know a lot of people would probably question that, but I can absolutely, it's something that he would do. Are you alright?
I'm fine. I saw the two of them take off and I saw you go after them.
Well, it seemed like they had some tense words for each other. But parted, neither harmed, so that's good. I don't know what they were fighting about, though. I just heard Merrick say, don't try something like that, or... But she'll just say, like, essentially, like, don't try something like that ever again.
This is going deeper than, and in a whole new direction than we even considered.
Oh no. Yvain's going to look at you with like a questioning look on her face. What do you mean?
Well, whatever Merrick's involved in, your sire's involved in as well.
Oh, that? I don't think that has anything to do with what we're looking into.
Sure.
I don't know. GM, am I sure?
You're talking to a paranoid Malkavian, so...
Honestly, well,
I think she's pretty sure, because I believe that, like, 2 games ago, I had her go, he's acting weird about Merrick.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really prove why one way or another. Like, I have maybe a thought, but I don't know. It seems kind of baseless, but I'll hold that aside, like in the back of my head. I'll keep that in mind. This is kind of like the statement at the end there.
Yeah, you definitely feel like this is sort of like a at least somewhat of a culmination of the vibes you were getting from him when the two of you had dinner together.
Yeah. Yvain's going to nod and say, yes, I unfortunately am very sure it has nothing to do with the investigation. And it's just it's tricky. It's tricky.
You gonna be okay?
Yes. I don't see why I wouldn't. I just, I just wasn't really expecting the contention between those two. So that does make going forward a little bit awkward. But what can you do, right?
Right.
Now, however, I am glad that you followed me because Hassan did end up kind of possibly confirming what I'd been worried about. Or at least not like confirming it for sure, but giving me more supporting evidence, I suppose, in my thought. Saris is probably around my age. But I don't have a lot of experience with our kind's, corpses when they decompose. Hassan, however, did say that that last corpse looked to be anywhere from Kindred, who is 60 to maybe 100 or so years old.
So until we find Saris, we maybe assume they're dead.
That's kind of what I'm wondering.
Or
Yeah.
met their final death, I meant to say. So, yeah. All right.
It would really be helpful if we could figure out who the last person Saris talked to was. But Hassan did say that he would also look into this because he has a little bit more room to work than Rick.
Rick didn't seem overly concerned. Well, no, that's not the right way to put it. Didn't seem to need to raise it up to management, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
While maybe Hassan might maybe have a little more personal involvement. You think?
I think that Hassan is like me. No, hold on. Let me rephrase that. I think that Hassan is like the I'm really anxious. That stems from like paranoia of things happening, of certain circumstances and outcomes coming to pass and not being prepared for them, right? Very anxious. We know this. This isn't new. And I'm not saying that Hassan is super anxious or anything like that, but I think that he has a very cautious mindset. And so he thinks it's better to look into this to be certain versus waiting until maybe it is blatantly a whole problem that is about to blow up.
You were right. You were right to talk to him.
Isn't that refreshing? Because everyone else is like, well, till it bites us on the ass.
I think that's a problem with our kind sometimes. We assume we're going to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we'll stop tonight.
Okay.
Awesome.
I learned some interesting information, and I've got my own juicy gossip now. No.
Awesome. Long episode tonight, folks.
Yes, did run a little longer than normal. So, but thank you for sticking with it.
Sorry for the interlude of going put a dog in his bed.
Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
But he just keeps barking and barking and barking until you do it. So, but anyway, enough pet talk. So, well, thanks everybody being on the stream and also watching later on YouTube. We appreciate it. We will be back next Friday night with episode 7 of this same scenario. But we do have a couple other games coming up this week. We have on Monday, we are playing Realms of Pugmire. It is a fantasy game with the characters are dogs. Not quite as silly as it sounds, but we are playing Realms of Pugmire on Monday night. Wednesday night, we are playing Delta Green. Nanette is running Black Sat for us. That'll be a 2-part episode. And then again, next Friday night, back here with Vampire the Masquerade, River City Runs Red. So thanks again for everybody watching, and we will see you all next week. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.